Alright, how's everybody doing this evening? Back again with another video for you guys. What I have here for everyone is my versus/comparison video between the Moto X Pure Edition and the LG G6. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing I want to do is talk about the build quality and design of both devices. Now, from a build quality and design standpoint, I'm going to have to say it's a tie. And really, that's because of personal preference for either device. If you're more a fan of the minimalist approach, then you might be more inclined to go with the Moto X Pure Edition. If you're a big fan of the glass and metal design, then you might be more inclined to go with the LG G6. That being said, from a build quality standpoint, I would have to say both of these devices are built and constructed extremely well. There's no rattling or creaking on any device, and all of the buttons have a nice tactile and clicky feedback to them. So again, that being said, I'm going to have to say in terms of build quality and design, it's a tie. Up next, the next thing I want to talk about with you guys are the displays on these devices. Now, let's start off with the Moto X Pure Edition. So, up front, dead center here, you have a 5.7 inch quad HD display with a resolution of 1440 by 2560. That is a screen density of 520 pixels per inch. Alright, jumping over to the LG G6, you also have a 5.7 inch quad HD display. This one is slightly higher resolution at 1440 by 2880. That's a screen density of 564 pixels per inch. Now, putting all the numbers and mumbo jumbo aside, y'all know me, a good display is a good display. And really, when it comes to displays, I'm going to have to say it's a tie. Both of these displays are a joy to use. They get nice and bright outdoors, and I have no issues with either display. So if you pick up either device, you're going to have no issues with either display on either device. So that being said, again, I'd have to say it's a tie. Now, up next, what I want to do is talk about the hardware and software on each device. Let's start off with the LG G6 here. So, in terms of hardware, the LG G6 has 4 gigs of internal RAM and 32 gigs of internal memory with microSD card expansion. One downside to the internals on the LG G6 is, however, that the microSD card does not support adaptable storage. So what does that mean? You'll only be able to format your microSD card as portable storage, which means you'll only be able to install a certain number of videos and pictures on the device, and only select apps will fully be able to be installed on the microSD card. Alright? Other internals include a Snapdragon 821 processor and an Adreno 530 GPU. Again, a 5.7 inch quad HD display, a 5 megapixel camera on the front, which is capable of 1080p video recording at 30 frames a second. Jumping back over to the rear, you have a rear mounted fingerprint scanner and 2 13 megapixel rear firing cameras, which are capable of recording videos at 4K resolution at 30 frames a second and doing slow motion video recording. Alright, now in terms of the software, you're running Android 7.0 Nougat with LG's custom skin on top. Now, if you want to learn more about the features on these devices, please check out the full reviews, which will be linked down below. But in terms of software, when we talk about software, all we really care about is the overall fluidity and snappiness of the device. And I would have to say, in that regard, the LG G6 is really, really good. I've had no issues with the software whatsoever. It's been a very snappy and fluid user experience throughout, and I've had no app slowdowns, app crashes, or app freezes of any kind. So that being said, the software experience on the LG G6 is really, really good. Now, jumping over to the hardware and software on the Moto X Pure Edition. Hardware-wise, this guy has 3 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of onboard storage with microSD card expansion yet again. Where this one has the slight advantage over the G6, however, is that the microSD card expansion supports adaptable storage, so you can make your microSD card internal storage on this device. Other hardware includes, this guy has a Snapdragon 808 processor, an Adreno 418 GPU. Again, up front, it has a 5.7-inch Quad HD display, dual front-firing speakers, a 5 megapixel front-facing camera with LED flash, which is capable of 1080p video recording and slow motion at 720p. Jumping back over to the rear, this guy has a 21 megapixel rear-firing camera, which is capable of 4K video recording at 30 frames a second and slow motion video recording. Talking about the software on this guy is running Android 6.0 Marshmallow with Motorola's very stock and light skin on top. Now, foregoing features, if y'all want to hear about the features, again, please check out my links to the full reviews on either device, which will be linked down below. But really, again, when we talk about the software, all we really care about is the overall fluid and smooth user experience. And in that regard, I would say that the Moto X Pure Edition does a pretty good job. With the slight exception of, with a ton of apps open in the background, you will get the occasional app slowdown. Alright? So, that being said, in terms of hardware, I have to call it a tie, because I really had no issues with the general hardware performance on either device. That being said, in terms of software, I'm going to have to give the edge and the W to the LG G6. It just ran fluid and smoothly throughout, and I had no issues, app crashes, app freezes, or app slowdowns of any kind on the LG G6. So it takes the W there. Up next, the next thing I want to talk about with you guys are the overall Wi-Fi in both of these devices. And really, I have to say, it's a tie across the board. Across the board, what we have in either of these devices is Wi-Fi 802.11, BGNN, and AC. So what does that mean? That means that you'll be able to take full advantage of either your 2.4 gigahertz band or your 5 gigahertz band on either device. And guys, really, I'm going to have to tell you, the Wi-Fi experience on either device has been phenomenal, and I've had no issues with it. And the same can be said of the data performance on either device. No issues whatsoever. And you can see here, these guys actually perform very, very similarly throughout. Alright? So now, let me just give y'all a quick Wi-Fi demonstration, which will also double as the speaker test, and you guys get to hear how these speakers sound. Alright, so let me just pull up a video here, and that will work.
You got me spinning in circles. I can't trust you anymore.
Let me let that ad play.
It's not working out, Sprint. Bye-bye. Break up with Sprint. Move to Metro PCS. Save big on your bill every month.
And let's skip that. Alright, so now, both of these devices have been maxed out, and I'm going to go ahead and let them play a little bit, and I'm going to scrub through the videos so you can see how they perform. Enjoy, guys. Let's start off with the LG G6. Alright, here we go. Alright, now let's check out the Moto X Pure Edition. Alright, so there you go, guys. Real quick Wi-Fi test. Now, as you can see, I had no issues with either device when it comes to Wi-Fi, and the overall performance was really, really good. Now, up next, I just want to talk about the overall LTE performance and the LTE bands on either device. And really, before I jump into this, I just want to say the Moto X Pure Edition wins this one hands down, because it's going to work pretty much on any carrier in the United States and abroad. It's really a very seamless plug and play experience. That being said, the LG G6 also does a good job, but this one is more carrier dependent and you have less bands. Whereas with the Moto X Pure Edition, it's pretty much going to work on any carrier, and you have band support for every carrier in the United States and all of the GSM carriers abroad. So let me scroll up. You can see it right there. Let that focus. So you got all them bands. Whereas you got less bands on the G6 here. Alright? Now, that in no way, shape, or form means that the LG G6 is bad when it comes to data usage and overall performance. No, it's actually quite good indeed. The Moto X Pure Edition just works on every carrier, whereas the LG G6 is more carrier dependent, and the global unlocked version has less LTE bands. So in terms of LTE and band support, I'm going to have to give the W to the Moto X Pure Edition. Alright, let's keep it moving. Up next, let's talk about the Bluetooth on both these devices. And this is where the LG G6 takes the W. Now, the LG G6 has Bluetooth 4.2 technology in it, and it has been phenomenal, and I've had no issues whatsoever. I could just connect my devices and they just work without a problem. Whereas with the Moto X Pure Edition, which has Bluetooth 4.1 technology in it, I've found that over time it has developed a Bluetooth bug, where sometimes it disconnects and it doesn't recognize when devices are connected or disconnected, and I've found that I gotta either toggle on and off my Bluetooth, restart my device, or toggle on and off airplane mode. Now, when it works how it's supposed to, it works no problem, but I find 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna run into a Bluetooth connection issue. So in that regard, the LG G6 takes the W here. Alright, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about now for you guys is the overall GPS performance in both of these devices. And really, guys, both of these devices have phenomenal GPS performance. And so if you're someone that's very GPS dependent, much like myself, you're not going to have any issues with either GPS on either device. They're going to lock on within seconds. Turn by turn is going to be a very fluid and enjoyable experience. So regardless of which device you pick up, if you're a very heavy navigation or GPS user, you're going to have an enjoyable experience on either device. So in terms of GPS, I'm going to have to call it a tie. Alright, guys. Up next, now I just want to talk about the overall receiver call quality and speaker call quality on both devices. And this is where I'm going to have to call it a tie on both devices. Now, I've used both of these devices on T-Mobile, and I found that wherever I have coverage, the receivers and the phone calls are really, really good. service doesn't drop, the calls are very crisp and clear throughout, and they get actually quite loud. The same can be said of the speaker call performance, with the exception that I found that I wish that the speaker call performance got a tad bit louder on either device. Maybe it's just me getting old, maybe I'm going deaf from testing all these devices. It is what it is, but I found that I just wish that the speaker call performance on either device got a touch louder. So in that regard, in the cell call quality and speaker call quality portion, I'm going to have to say it's a tie. Now, up next thing I want to talk about with you guys is the overall camera experience and camera qualities on both devices. Now, before we jump in, I'm just going to have to give it hands down in the camera experience user interface department to the Moto X Pure Edition. Now, when I say that, I mean that the Moto X Pure Edition is that much easier to pick up and use. There's little to no learning curve in the camera interface. It's very easy to just pick up and start taking snaps and shooting videos, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a solid video throughout. Now, that does not mean by any shape or form that the cameras or the camera interface on the LG G6 is bad. No, it is actually very simple and straightforward as well, but there's slightly more of a learning curve with the camera interface on the LG G6 as opposed to the camera interface on the Moto X Pure Edition. Now, both of these phones have their ways to launch the camera. With the G6, quick double tap of the volume down, it's going to take you straight in there. So you can see straight in. And keep in mind, guys, if you want to see more details on the cameras, please check out the full reviews, which will be linked down below. You also have the lock screen shortcut for the G6 as well to get into the cameras. With the Moto X Pure Edition, you got the quick wrist gesture and you have the lock screen shortcut. Now, that being said, in terms of camera performance, I'm going to have to say it's a tie. Now, yes, I know that the LG G6 does have the slight advantage with the addition of the additional 13 megapixel wide angle lens, but that being said, putting all the features and gimmicks and all that stuff aside and just judging them camera for camera, these are both two really good cameras, guys, and regardless of which phone you pick up, you're going to be able to take a good shot 9 times out of 10. So in terms of user experience, I'll give the W to the Moto X Pure Edition. In terms of camera performance and video performance throughout, I'm going to have to say it's a tie. Now next, moving on, the next thing I want to talk about with you guys is the gaming performance. Now, in the interest of speed, I'm not going to do a gaming demo, but what I will tell you is that regardless of whatever games you throw at either of these devices, they're just going to work. The Adreno 530 GPU and the Adreno 418 GPU is just going to smash any casual game that you throw at these guys. And with the addition of 4 gigs of RAM and 3 gigs of RAM respectively, I had no issues with the gaming performance on either device. So if you're picking up either of these devices for some heavy gaming, you're going to have no issues with either device. So in terms of gaming, I'm going to have to call it a tie. Up next, the next thing we would talk about here is the benchmarks. Now, yes, on paper, the LG G6 does beat out the Moto X Pure Edition in each and every benchmark, just about. But really keep in mind, guys, again, if you want to see those benchmark numbers, please check out the full review, which will be linked down below. But really what matters to us as end users is the fact that we have an overall fluid experience. And how do we get that fluid user experience? It's the right combination of hardware and software throughout the device that gives us that smooth user experience. And I'm very happy to say that on either device, you're going to get that smooth and fluid user experience. That being said, the LG G6 is a little bit smoother and a little bit snappier than the Moto X Pure Edition. Okay? So, that being said, in terms of overall benchmark numbers, LG G6 takes it. In terms of the overall user experience and fluidity, it's a slight take for the LG G6. They're both enjoyable, and they both have a very enjoyable user experience. Okay? Now, moving on, this is where we would talk about the overall battery life and the charge times. Now, when it comes to overall battery life, I'm going to have to give the W here to the LG G6. I found that in my particular testing, pretty much throughout, with moderate to heavy usage, I'm able to get anywhere from about 4 to 6 hours of screen on time. And with moderate usage, I'm able to get about 10 to 12 hours of overall usage out of the device. With heavy usage, I'm able to get about 6 to 7 hours of usage. Again, with 6 to 7 hours of screen on time. That being said, on the Moto X Pure Edition, it's a struggle to get to 4 hours, guys. So in that regard, the LG G6 takes the W there. Now, where the Moto X Pure Edition punches back is with the addition of its turbocharging. The turbocharging on the Moto X Pure Edition is still some of the fastest charging to date. It's easily able to go from 10% to 100 in about an hour, from 15% to 100 in about an hour and about an hour and 15 minutes, and from 20% to 100 in about 45 minutes. Whereas the LG G6, yes, it has turbocharging, quick charging, Qualcomm quick charging, but it's not as fast as the turbocharging on the Moto X Pure Edition. I found that in my testing, it's more like a Z-Max Pro charging speed here. So what does that mean? That means that you go from 10% to 100 in about an hour and 45 minutes, from 15% to 100 in about an hour and a half, and from 20% to 100 in about an hour. So, although the G6 takes it in overall battery life, the Moto X Pure Edition takes it in the charging times. So it is what it is there, guys. Now that brings us to the end of the video, guys. And this is where I talk about the prices and I give you guys my final thoughts or a recommendation or two. And really, you guys may be wondering, well, which one do you recommend? And in this regard, I would have to say it's more your choice and personal preference. Again, wrapping it back around to the beginning of the video. If you're the type of person that prefers the glass and metal design, then maybe the LG G6 is for you. But if you're more utilitarian style and you want that clean and functional approach, maybe you want to go with the Moto X Pure Edition. That being said, let's break this down even further. Right now today, you can pick up the LG G6 unlocked for about anywhere between $500 to $650. Now, that's a lot of money, okay? You can lessen that if you're willing to go to your carriers or find a provider that will let you get an equipment installment plan where you do a small down payment and then you got your small monthly payments. Alright? Other than that, you may be able to find it cheaper than that $650 price tag if you're willing to look around on Amazon, eBay, Swappa, so on and so forth, maybe even Craigslist. But pretty much, if you want that flat out, it's going to run you anywhere from about $500 to $650. And you're actually getting a lot for that price tag. You're getting phenomenal cameras. You're getting a great fingerprint sensor. You're getting some decent battery life. You're getting some decent charge times. You're getting a big, beautiful display. You're getting a current version of Android with a very fluid and snappy user experience and interface. So you're getting a lot here. You're getting wireless charging. You get an IP68 water and dust resistance. Now, if you're looking to save a little bit of money and you want to still have a good experience, then I would say go with the Moto X Pure Edition. You're getting, again, a nice solid 5.7 inch Quad HD display, because these are both 5.7 inch Quad HD displays. You're getting some really good dual front firing speakers. You're getting some good cameras on this guy. What you make up for, what you lose in overall battery life, you make up for with the charge times. Again, you're getting a very fluid and snappy user experience. Just remember, it does tend to stutter a little bit with a ton of apps open in the background. But that being said, if you're looking to save a little bit of money, you should be more than pleased with the Moto X Pure Edition. So, with that out of the way, guys, it really is up to you guys. Alright? Alright. So, right now, I guess that brings this versus/comparison video to a close. If you guys enjoyed the video, please help your boy out and give it a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. If you want to see more raw, uncut content like this, please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and click the notification bell icon right next to it so you get notified when I post new videos to YouTube. Alright guys, don't forget all links to where to purchase these devices as you see them here, cases, microSD cards, the devices themselves, all that good stuff, all the accessories will be down below in the video description, as well as links to the video samples. If you want to see the photo samples, please follow me on Google+. As always, guys, if y'all know anyone out there looking for some high quality, affordable devices and products at some really great prices, please share with them my channel, because I'm doing this for everyone because we all deserve the best. Alright guys, these two phones will now go on forward as my two heavy hitters. And every phone that I bring to the channel will have to make their way through these two devices. I hope everyone has a great evening, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Oh, this whole video was recorded using the 13 megapixel cameras on the Note 3 at 1080p 30 frames. So y'all let me know how the audio sounds, and y'all let me know how the picture looks. Don't forget guys, if you need to know any information, please leave me a comment down below. If I did not cover something in this versus/comparison video, please be sure to check out my full reviews down below as well. Alright, everyone have a great one. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.